And hello everyone, welcome to the week 3 of VL Div 3 as well. I believe this is group B in Div 3. Today we are going to see Warband facing off against Built by Us Academy. My name is Poro Demon and I am joined by Kenny B.
Hello everyone. This will be my first time streaming, so looking forward to it. It looks like we've got some fun games today. Warband are currently sitting at the top of the table for the group, so a chance to prove themselves as a top tier team today. Whereas Built by Us only has one win so far, so they might have a little more to do to prove themselves in this group today.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing them prove themselves against the so far undefeated team in series, not in games.
Yeah,
And
will be
we're just
interesting.
waiting to get into draft now. Both
Um,
teams appear to be ready. And there we go, it's on our way.
It will be interesting to see what bans these two teams choose. Looking at the previous games, there seems to be a bit of overlap in the jungle pool, so I expect an early Xin ban like we see here, a potential Trundle or a potential Diana ban quite quickly. There also seems to be a bit of overlap in the ADC pools. There's a lot of Jinx and Caitlyn's being played, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw a Caitlyn ban or potentially a Jinx ban as well.
Yeah, not likely that we're seeing that arcane matchup going on. Most likely
Yeah.
one of them will be banned, if not both of them.
The Karki ban comes out, pretty strong per pit right now. The package does a lot of damage in team fights, a lot of zone control, very good poke champion, and a very stable mid laner. So not surprised to see that ban come out. The
Yeah,
Morgana
and of
ban,
course with the first strike.
yeah, you just ramp up gold, you get your items pretty fast. The Yumi ban, glad to see it. Don't like that champion at all. She just sits on the carry.
Yeah, I'm very happy I don't need to play by play the zoomies and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
A Teemo ban. Teemo is actually desired as his most played champion in solo queue, so a targeted
Interesting.
ban toward the top side.
Interesting, very interesting. And we do see the Caitlyn,
The
like
Caitlyn
we
first
thought.
pick. The Morgana's already been taken away, so it won't be paired with a Morgana. The support likes to play Fresh sometimes as well, and maybe a Kench. We see Jinx Leona in response. Leona is actually Kurtalax's most played so far in the league. It's an unusual pairing with the Jinx, but very good engage, very good setup, and Jinx can just fire rockets from the backline.
Yeah, and of course, as it says on our sponsor of the league, Caitlyn does counter Jinx, but Jinx also does outscale. So just going for a more scaling-oriented comp
And
than winning the lane.
here we see the tanky jungles come out, the Jarvan and Sejuani come out, two big frontline engagers with a chunky helper that needs to be taken down. So both teams right now, Warband has a bit more of a hard engage comp, and Built by Us Academy has a more pokey, long range comp. So we'll see where they go from here.
Yeah, and of course, we kind of brushed over the Lux pick.
Yeah,
Could be mid, could be support paired with the Caitlyn.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The Solo doesn't seem to have played it yet, and neither does Toad. So it will be interesting to see where that goes and see how Warband draft in accordance to this flex pick.
Yeah, they seem to be thinking it's Lux support though, with the double mid lane ban.
Yeah, ban out the Salas and the Galio. Galio pretty big Roman champion pairs pretty well with the Jarvan, so not surprised to see that ban. And then the Akali ban comes out from built by us. Pretty good flex pick right now into both top and mid, and can go a weird tanky build and provide a lot for the team. The Ariana in response, I think it makes sense with this team comp. You've already got ball delivery with the Sejuani and Leona. Just put your ball on one of those champions, they run forward, and you can press ult. So very good with the comp.
Yeah, and of course also a takeaway from the Jarvan Orianna comp.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I wonder what this will be. What we gonna see?
Yeah, I
See
kind
the
of didn't
Lisa?
want to talk about it because I didn't expect that to be locked with the
Yeah.
Jarvan already in place.
I wonder where these lanes are going to go then right now. The Lux could still be mid, and the Diana as well. So a lot of flex from the side of BBUA. Um, I think it's a Diana mid, but we can't really be sure.
Yeah,
If it is a Diana mid, it's a good matchup into Orianna because Orianna struggles to poke their Diana. The second she walks up to try and poke, Diana can just press Q and get on top of the Orianna. And we see the Urgot last pick.
yeah, the Urgot to kinda counterpick the unknown.
Yeah,
Like Jarvan can be top, Lee Sin can be top.
yeah.
Hell, I'm low-key hoping for a Lethality Jarvan mid, but that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's looking like it's going to be the Diana mid into the Orianna. Makes a lot of sense, in my opinion. A good matchup. The side off Warband have a lot of tanky frontline champs, and they've just got this Jinx Orianna backline. So in fights, I just expect them to front to back and put out a lot of damage.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas,
I do wonder if the Urgot is going to go for the Hullbreaker build and just split everywhere,
that
or
could
if
be a
he's maybe going
possibility.
for the more team fight oriented build.
Yeah. Going into this game, whose draft do you think is? Who do you think's going to win this game from draft?
I think it really depends on how far the game goes. If
Yeah,
the Jarvan and the Lee Sin together can get some stuff done, it's really hard to lose, basically. But
yeah.
if they
And
don't get stuff done, they just get
it's
outskilled
yeah.
hard.
They've also got the Caitlyn in the bot lane, so she can provide a lot of pressure early on, but in the mid game she can fall off until the late game. So if they don't get ahead, it might be tough for them to come back into the game. Whereas Warband, they've got a very tanky front line. They've got the Jinx scaling. Orianna scales pretty well as well. So if the game goes longer, I favour Warband this game.
Yeah, because at that point also Sejuani just becomes kind of an ult bot for both herself and the Orianna.
Yeah. Um, I hope we see a lot of doms on the Caitlyn. She's definitely going to need it this game to get through this front line. And maybe a bit more of a tank shredder build from the Diana. Maybe a Leandries instead of the regular proto belt.
Yeah, while Rocket Belt of course does give the magic pen all its passive, it's still not quite as tank shredding as the Leandris.
Yeah.
Yeah, all good. So we start at 0 seconds now? Ah, okay, it's
Okay.
good that you say that because last time I casted it was at 10 seconds. Ah, yeah, I mean, fair enough.
Okay.
Oh good, oh good.
Oh,
Oh.
uh, we're just getting information from Gekno on how to start a game. It's my first time casting and Parodemon's first time play-by-play, so a little
Yeah,
unsure of
yeah.
what's happening, but we should have it figured out now, and we should be ready to go.
Do not worry, we are not crazy. We were just talking to our streamer friend.
Yeah. So just
I mean,
loading
we
into
are
the game.
maybe kind of crazy, but not in that
Who knows?
regard, at least. Alright, as we
It'll
get
be
into the loading screen.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what the level 1 strategies are from both of these teams. One team has a Leona, so could potentially look for something early on. But the other team does have a Caitlyn, so it might be a bit risky. I just expect a 5-point from both of these teams.
Yeah, both teams have a decent engage level 1, but because both teams have it, maybe they don't want to risk
Yeah.
it.
It's also, if you're playing this Leona Sejuani, you also would have to invade into a Lux, which might not be the best idea, just because that binding can stop an invade pretty easily, followed by a Kate, who just attacks you from a mile away. So it might be a bit harder to invade, so I expect 2 5-point teams right here.
Yeah, with how bugged my screen looks, I'm guessing they paused or something.
I'm not sure. I'm still loading in.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's working now. Yeah, I'm on 0.
I'm ready. I'm on 0.
Yep, I'm on 0.
My play button's not working as well.
Okay, looks like we're going to have some issues with syncing up.
And getting the game to start. I'm at 10 seconds.
I am also at 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And here
A
we
few
finally
technical
go.
issues, but we're off. So it looks like Built by Us are actually moving towards bot side as a group. I don't know whether this is an invade or they just seem to be stacking. They
Yeah, it
might
looks
expect
like
the
they're
Sejuani
counter-invading.
invade. Yeah, they might expect the Sejuani Leona to get in, but the other team's just 5-pointing, so this stack doesn't look like it's gonna work this game.
Yeah, of course, as you mentioned, if they do invade onto the Lux and get binding, that's kind of just the invade over.
Yeah, it's very hard to invade into a Lux. So I'm not sure where these jungles are going to start, but I would expect that Lee Sin will start topside and path down to this bot lane because of the Kate Lux lane. You really want to get this Kate Lux lane ahead, or else it's going to struggle a bit in the mid game, compared to the Jinx Leona, who sort of just want to sit back, scale until the late game, and potentially get some Leona roams off.
Yeah, it looks like they're both going to be starting bot side though.
I find that a bit unusual. We'll see what happens. They might both want to just impact this top lane matchup. I'm not sure how the Jarvan got matchup goes. I don't think I've ever seen it before, so
I have both seen and played Jarvan top, but never with Grasp, so I'm not sure what he's going for. Maybe he's actually going for full tank Jarvan rather than the maybe Gore Drinker Starox type of build.
One thing that can be said about this built by us comp is they have a lot of engaged tools. They've got the Diana, the Jarvan, and the Lee Sin. They have very easy access to the enemy team. You've either got a Jarvan jumping on you, a Diana jumping on you, or a Lee Sin jumping on you. So it might cause an issue for Warband if they're not careful about it.
Yeah, later on, Jay and Oldboy really need to position themselves perfectly
Yeah.
so they don't get insanked, cataclysmed,
Um,
anything.
It looks like both jungles are just full clearing. The Lee Sin a bit behind on this clear so far, but I assume he's just gonna catch up, get to this bot lane, and try and impact it.
Already almost a kill going over to Fluffy Bunny here.
Yeah, that Caitlyn matchup. Caitlyn has very long range, and once they hit level 2, if Luck's gonna hit a binding, you
Oh, Lee
just
Sin is jumping on the Urgot. Combo missing from Desired As though. But Urgot might still go down. Yeah, they did just take him down very slowly. As senior coach is also just in a bad position now. Looking to help his top laner, but he's just gonna die for it.
Yeah, that's the start that Built by Us wanted. They get this Lee Sin, this Diana, and this Jarvan ahead. And their bot lane, they've also got this Jinx really low, and they might just get a plate here. Really good start for Built by Us.
Yeah, coaching shirt just kinda going in as AMDOC already died. Oh, Winter J maybe catching Imoke here on the red buff. Has to
Again, a bit
swing in to
greedy for that
survive.
red buff.
This fight is still going on. Imoke is still trying to... Oh, Toad actually picking up the red buff there to deny it from the Sejuani. But she's still gonna die for it, flipped by the Urgot. And now Jay has the double buffs, I believe. Buff transfer complete.
Yeah, I guess so. A blue buff and a red buff on this Ariana, and Diana can't be in lane for a while because she doesn't have TP. This might have been a overstay from Built by Us.
Yeah,
And they might get punished for it.
just kinda greedy on trying to take away that red buff after the 2 kills.
Yeah. And Lee Sin, right now, he's only got 3 camps compared to the Sejuani. He's got a kill, but you've just lost a lot of priority mid lane, and now this Ariana has a kill and she's ahead in CS.
Yeah, and coaching sir also picking up the top scuttle.
Yeah,
Is
and
this
they
trading on mid lane?
might
Just
be looking
using
for a
that red
gank
buff
mid.
to its full potential.
The Lee Sin is also pathing towards bot side right now. I don't think there's going to be a dive, but it just looks like they're securing bot scuttle. The Sejuani is currently running into him, so could be a little scuffle.
Yeah, Sejuani just going away.
Just backing out.
Saw the scuttle had been taken, so nothing for her to do there anymore. It's gonna go back into a jungle.
This
As
got
this,
match.
this Jarvan is not working out so far, if you look at the
Yeah.
CS.
He's got a big wave in front of his tower, but he is still behind. The got an assist in that little scuffle into the top side, so he's a bit back in gold, and Jarvan has 2 assists, but he's a bit behind in CS, so right now top lane looks pretty even.
Yeah, Sobo just stopping the bases of Old Boy here.
This really
Definitely
hurts for
really
the
awkward.
Jinx. With this
Oh,
Jinx, you
she
just
might die for it now though. Flashes away. Gets the heal. Old Boy may be in trouble here. Actually dies by Fluffy Bunny. Sejuani also gets caught, and even Leona is now in a very bad spot. Gets picked up by Bunny as well. Just a quick 3 kills, and they're transitioning it into the Ocean Drake now.
Perfect start for Built by Us, perfect fight by Built by Us right there in that bot lane. It's going on top side.
Yeah,
Just looks like they're trading.
Just some wet noodle slapping there.
Yeah, this is really rough for this Jinx right now. She's about 20 CS behind and 2 kills down. She's got a reset off, but now Caitlyn's going to reset. She's going to come back with quite a lot of gold, and this lane gets a lot tougher for you as the Jinx.
Yeah, buying the Berserker Greaves and the pickaxe.
These Caitlyn autos are going to start hurting, especially the headshots.
Yeah, the headshots are definitely gonna hurt, and the Ocean Drake picked up, so gonna help with the sustain maybe for the Jarvan, especially considering he's against the ranged, and same for Diana actually.
Yeah, so built by us lanes, getting ahead, except from this mid line, where the Orianna is 1 kill up and 15 CS up. So it looks like Warband are relying on this Orianna to get them through the mid game, so they can get off their scaling comp.
Yeah, as senior coach is just picking up another scuttle here. Just pushing that CS lead she has on Imoke.
The Jinx did just reset and buy a call, so I hope this works out. It could be a bit risky if they don't get to finish this call.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's just more banking on the scaling.
Yeah, they really want to rely on their late game. They need to be worried about these Drakes that will go over to built by us. They have a lot of priority in the spot side, so it means picking up Drakes is pretty easy for them, as something looks to be happening top side.
Oh, Old Boy is just getting absolutely bodied here.
Getting
Almost
punished
dead.
under his
Again,
own
had to
tower.
burn the heal.
The ace in the hole gets blocked in by the Leona. Keeps the Jinx
Yeah,
alive for now. But
kinda ambitious to do that, but you never know. There might be a communication error. Oh, that's a good buffer.
yeah, really nice buffer.
And then he goes back in, jumps on the Oriana. Just a lot of fighting going. Big Diana ult here. Everyone gets caught in it. Sir Senior Coach has to flash away as Diana dies to the Urgot actually. Off screen. As this is
But
just a very awkward wet noodle fight again. Both really don't want to go in on each other, but also don't want to give ground. As the oh my
ooh,
god! The
and the
final
Lux ult.
spark! It's over!
It just fans them two champions low recalling in a bush. Was it warded? I don't think so.
No,
It was
it
just a
was
very good
completely blind.
prediction. Yeah. Um, really good ult there from Solo.
Oh, as they both CC each other, just slowly dying. Urkel just kinda shotgun kneeing. He doesn't win though. Decide as picking up the solo kill here.
This is what you want if you're BBU though. You're about 4k ahead in 10 minutes. You've got a first Drake. You're about to pick up the first Herald with the Lee Sin on it. Your Caitlyn's miles ahead. Your Javin's also pretty far ahead right now. So really good start from Built by Us. If they can keep up this tempo, they might just look to take a quick first game.
Yeah, Imoko may be in trouble here. Decide as is also quite low. Looks like they're actually gonna have to give the Herald.
Yeah, they lose
Unless he
priority.
wants to go for the steal maybe, but I don't think he is.
This Ariana is able to move out of this lane a lot faster than Diana. I did not expect the matchup to go this way, but the Diana is actually getting pushed in by the Oriana, which means she can move to this top lane Herald, which forces the Lee Sin to back off into his jungle because the Diana can't respond.
Yeah, let's see where Senior Coacher is going to use this Herald. Maybe he's gonna put it bot to try and get some platings on Old Boy. But
Yeah,
at this point in the matchup, I don't even think they win 2v3.
yeah, I agree with you. The Lee Sin is also hovering around his bot side, so if Senior Coach tries to place a Herald bot side, the Lee Sin can just respond.
Both of the CCs missing there, but AMDOC just wants this. Takes a lot of desired SHP as the solar flare comes in. Zenith Blade on the Caitlyn, but that's just a little bit too deep. You're just alone.
So the Leona goes in
Flash
onto
away.
the Caitlyn, but the Caitlyn's got cleanse, so she's just in front of 3 people now with her ADC not being able to follow up. It looks like there's gonna be a little Drake fight.
Yeah, again fighting, engaging on the Lux. Lux is still alive. Leona dies for this.
The rocket just isn't quite able to connect under the low locks. So it looks like Built by Us is going to get another Drake.
Yeah, picking up the Hextech Drake as well. And we're gonna have an Infernal Rift. I feel like you cannot be giving Drakes anymore.
Yeah, each Drake for this BBU side will just snowball the damage, and if they get Soul, it becomes a lot more deadly. Like the Diana ult, the Lux ult with Infernal Soul, they're going to be doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, I feel like for the next dragon, you kinda have to just have everyone pile on the dragon, try and get it. You cannot be losing it anymore.
Caitlyn is currently recalling. I assume she's going to finish off a Mythic, whereas Jinx is still only sat on that Noon Quiver and the Cull.
Yeah,
So
this call not stacking out that fast as Herald is being dropped mid lane. Maybe
yeah,
get some platings on the Oriana. Put all your eggs in the Ori basket. She is actually walking off. I don't think she got the plates.
did she not? I'm not sure. The Urgot didn't go Hullbreaker like you expected.
Yeah, so he is going for the split push.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Maybe they don't think they can win the team fights.
Yeah, he is catching Desired S though, but Fluffy Bunny is already here to help out his mate in the top lane. As Toad is just again being bullied under his tower.
That is Oriana.
The
Oh,
shockwave hit connects and he just kills him. As Lux is now trying to trade a kill back with the AAs. Jay flashes away and actually survives.
very big play from Jay. He's able to solo kill the Diana on the tower and then run away from the locks.
Yeah, senior coach did get caught there a little bit, takes half his health, but he's a Giovanni, he's fine.
I've been
Gets
talking.
hit again.
I've been talking about this gold difference in the bot lane, but there's also a pretty sizable.
Oh, as old boy just
Yeah.
not catching break.
Putting that gold difference a bit further, not able to get any of this. Not able to get any of the tower plays, I don't think, and can't even auto the tower now.
Yeah, I can imagine
It's
old
fine.
boy seeing the Caitlyn on top. He's pretty happy. He's like, I'm finally gonna get some of that curl stacked off, and then Desired S just flashes on him.
Yeah, that is one struggle with Jinx into this Diana, Jeff, and Lee Sin. She can be immobile at times. I wonder if she's going to opt into the
Oh, that
Belfast.
Urgot E killed him. Imoke dodged it, so he went all the way in. Fluffypen had to go force the solar flare though. I
Yeah,
think with
but
the cleanse up, she kinda didn't need to do that. She could have just turned. Maybe. She's
potentially
super ahead.
they might have been able to get another kill out of it. I was talking about this bot lane gold lead, but there is also a pretty sizable gold lead inside this mid lane as well. So
Yeah,
we'll see
it
how
looks like Jay is just gonna have to kinda 1v9 to get them
yeah,
back into the game.
maybe if the Jinx gets a few of these quite sizable shutdowns, they might be able to turn this around, but it's not looking too good for Warband right now.
Yeah, funny enough, the support has a higher bounty than the AD. It's always funny to see. The
We're
game is
just
kinda slowing down for now.
yeah, the Jinx just trying to farm up, trying to complete this cull. We're just sort of waiting for the next Drake. These teams, 50 seconds on this Infernal. I expect a fight to break out here. The Jinx still doesn't have a Mythic completed though, compared to this Caitlyn who's got her Last Whisper and a Gale Force.
Yeah, finally almost halfway through finishing the goal. As Lux gets caught here by the Sejuani. Gets the solar flare, gets a shield, survives, and actually dies right at the end, but the kill gets traded back on the Sejuani. As the Zayt S once more
I
does
don't
not
know.
connect the flag and now just walks away. As the shockwave on Bunny! He barely lives, but a big Diana ult under the tower. No one dies here. All such low health bars.
Yeah, they've all got very low health bars right now, except from this Jarvan and Lee Sin, who had just gone and melt this Drake. So at this,
As goes back in, gets the double Cataclysm, and just a double solo kill essentially.
yeah. So this Lee Sin is able to just take the Drake in the meantime, which puts them on soul point. So one more Drake, 5 minutes. If the Jinx doesn't have many items by then, they might just lose soul for it.
Oh! Bunny just kinda steps up a little bit too aggressive against Jay and just gets balled in the face.
A huge shutdown going on over to this Orianna. The emphasis is really on this Orianna to carry this game right now.
Yeah, 4 kills, big CS lead. Just everything needs to go right.
Yeah. Maybe she can get this shutdown on the Lee Sin and the Jarvan. She can get a bit more gold into her pocket. Might be able to finish the. I think that's Shadow Flame she's going for, which makes sense into the shielding on the side of Bobias. They've got a lot with the Jarvan, the Lee, and the Lux.
Yeah, and even the Diana herself, of course.
Yeah. That passive, that W allows it to shield. It's a little scuffle bot lane.
Yeah, cute little buffer, but Urgot actually wins out in these trades because of the Hullbreaker. Lux getting caught here. Big shockwave on the Diana. Leona had to flash away, but still dies to Fluffy Bunny. Jarvan getting the Cataclysm on the Ori. Meanwhile, he gets Urgot ulted himself, as Lux also gets caught by the Zap and then the Urgot Q.
That's a really good fight for Warband right there. They get a few of these shutdowns that were quite big. Most of it onto the Urgot. This Urgot might be a bit of a problem if
Oh,
this
Bunny
carries
might be
on.
getting caught here as well, actually, by the Sejuani and the Jinx. Giving the kill over to Old Boy. He's finally on the board.
He's finally got a bit of gold. He might be able to finish his tier 2 beats with that.
Yeah, he did also finish his mythic right before this fight. Going for the Kraken, which I'm not sure about that one, but at least
Agree.
it's a mythic.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Aether. You've got to keep yourself away from this Diana and this Lee Sin. I think Gale Force would have been the better option right now.
I'm mostly trying to steal away the Grom, but Imoke smells it and just takes it away. The Urgot is actually on a bounty now as well. With the
Yeah.
3-3-2. And the only bounty left to collect is that of Lee Sin.
The Baron is now on the table as well.
Using the Herald for a... Oh, it doesn't judge actually. Really good
And
by Solo.
BBUA just burst this Baron down before Warband even get a chance to respond. It looks like they can.
Yeah,
The
they don't do
Sedgeburn
it
is still on their way
as
over.
fast and they may smell something. Orianna is TPing to the mid wave. Senior coach maybe looking for a steal as the... Oh! Old Boy actually gets it with the Mega Death Rocket. As then a big shockwave as well. And they just clean up the fight. The Zydas also getting caught here. The Sejuani may not connect, but the speed buff may get him in range. He gets it. And the Zydas just dies as well. 4 kills and stolen Baron.
Not what you
And
want.
they only trade back to support.
That's not what you want if you're built by Earth. They Lee Sin bounty finally going over, but look at the bounties on the side of Warband now. They've got a bounty on the top lane of 500 gold, as well as 150 on both Orianna and Sejuani, which just shows that this game could potentially swing like that. It all
Yeah,
comes down
just
to this next Drake
bounty
fight
on the
though.
whole top side. As Jinx is also just getting the assists at least. And of course the clutch rocket on the Baron, taking a tower as well. And now basing. She might even be able to buy a full next item.
If you just spot
And
a
she
rapid fire.
does.
She might just want the extra range to deal with the Caitlyn and keep herself away from the Diana a bit with this rapid fire cannon. She
Yeah,
still is
most
only set on
like.
Prime boots though, opting for the second mythic instead of the tier 2 boots. I don't know if that's the right call, but
Yeah, and
we'll
still,
see
of
how it
course,
works.
still waiting to finish off that curl.
Yeah.
As the Sejuani ult connects on Fluffy Bunny, insta cleanses it. Big cataclysm on 3 people. Diana ult hitting them as well, but they just don't have the damage with Fluffy Bunny being zoned out by Coacher. And that's just a clean ace, a triple kill for the Sejuani.
And you can see this built by us comp is starting to fall apart a bit. They are still on soul points, so one mistake from Warband and it might just lead to a soul, but the damage is just not for there from built by us right now. Compared to this Jinx that is now shooting people from miles away with this Kraken Slayer and Rapid Fire Cannon.
Yeah, actually on a bounty now as well. With those 2 kills. And
The goal,
9 assists to her name.
the goal lead for built by us at 10 minutes was 4k. Now it's 5k in the other direction. So a massive goal swing this game.
Yeah, and remember, it's now the scaling team that is ahead.
Yeah. So in these fights, it's going to be very hard for the Jarvan and the Lee Sin to do anything, I think, because they've just got this tanky front line inside of the Diana, Diana, Leona, and Sejuani that can just zone you off the Jinx, and the Orianna that are just sat in the backline pumping out damage. It will be interesting to see how Built by Us start to look at the fights now and see if they can change their approach to these fights. Maybe try to look for a Diana flank of the Jinx. But even then, I think it would be hard, just because of the amount of peel the Jinx can have.
Yeah, at least as you did mention in Gem Select, Caitlyn going for that Lord Dom's second item to at
Yeah.
least do some damage to the Sejuani and the Urgot. But last
No.
fight she just only had Sejuani and took her to half health as she died. So it's still
Yeah.
just not enough.
She's also bought this BF sword. I wonder what she's going to build that into.
As Solo maybe getting caught here. The Solar Flare slows 3 people, but under the tower, so that's just not really anything to follow up here. As Stout maybe getting caught here by the Shockwave. The Proto Belt gets interrupted by it as well, and she just dies for it. 2 in 7 now on the Diana. That's just not what you want to see from your mid laner.
Winter J actually showing up this game. He saw the early game was going bad and said, "It's fine, I'll carry you guys to the late game." And that's what's happening.
Yeah, as AMDOC is also just slowly chipping away on the bot tower. While the stacked up just takes the mid tower slowly but surely.
Yeah, the Caitlyn's struggling to poke out these champions now. The Caitlyn mid game struggling a bit. She has 2 items. She's now pretty even on farm with the Jinx, and the Jinx has now completed her cull as well, so she can sell
Yeah.
that, probably get another half item.
Decide as going in on AMDOC here. Not really dealing a lot of damage to him though. As objective bounties are going in on the side, I did not expect 15 minutes into this game.
Yeah. Did not expect that either. It might be the only chance that Built by Us has right now though, because this game is starting to look pretty doomed for Built by Us. I don't know how they would be able to contest any of these fights right now because the Jinx and the Orianna are just so far ahead right now. Even with the bad start to the game that happened bot lane.
Yeah, and it looks like they're gonna try and trap around the Baron buff as some more fighting going on between the 2 top laners. No one really hard damaging each other, but I'm okay. Comes here to maybe kill the Urgot. As the side S is actually slowly going down, the Cataclysm kills him.
That's a
And
huge
at least
to the
one
Jarvan.
huge shutdown going to the Jarvan, but they might lose Baron for it.
They might lose Baron, but Built by Us is currently setting up around the Drake. And they've got a mana advantage, so they might be able to fight this and then take Drake. And for the whole point.
Yeah, AmbiOC does have TP up and he respawns slightly after the dragon. But he will respawn without his ult. But Cataclysm will also be down and Kick will be down. As the side is going in without his team. But he does get a lot of damage across. Big shockwave. As Diana gets picked up by the Jinx. And so does Lee Sin. A triple kill for Old Boy now. Getting excited on the Jinx.
Yeah,
As the bot lane scatters.
the team are Built by Us. They got onto this Jinx with the Jarvan, and the Diana also was able to get on top of the Orianna, but they just didn't have the damage.
AmbiOC flashing the wall here to catch Fluffy, but just nets away to safety. Did not quite have the ult yet to drag her back in.
Built by Us just don't have the damage right now to get through this tanky side of Warband. The Sejuani sat on a lot of armor items. She's got 3 armor items, and this Urgot, he's just completed his Frostfire gauntlet, so he's pretty tanky now as well.
Yeah, the Hullbreaker, Titanic, and the Frostfire also almost finishing off that Thornmail.
Yeah, just completed a farm mail, so if you're this Caitlyn, who are you attacking? You're just shooting tanks the entire fight.
Yeah, you just have to try and survive long enough for Diana and Jarvan to kill off the backline
This
and then help you out as you're just kind of tickling
you
the
seem
front
to be
line.
lagging a bit, so I'll just talk for a bit. The Diana is really struggling in this game into the comp of Warband. She can't really get on top of anyone without getting blown up. It might just be because she had a pretty rough start to the game. But she is quite far behind in CS. She's almost 80 CS behind, and she is almost 5k gold down on this Orianna. So we'll have to see what happens this game. The Warband are just pushing in the engage from the Diana, but the Orianna just able to one-shot the Diana and then Gale Force. The shutdown does go over to the Caitlyn, but they're losing 2 towers here, Built by Us. They lose the mid tower, and it looks like another fight's going to go down. The Cataclysm from Jarvan, and the Lee Sin gets eaten by the Urgot ult. Warband are just winning this fight. They just don't even. They only lose the Orianna from the top side, but they just overpower the side of Built by Us and take a free inhibitor for it. And now they're just looking to end the game. The tower, the Nexus towers is all that stands between Wargame and this final game. With just Solo being alive, she can't really do much right now. The Diana is up, but Warband are just able to end out the game. And that's game 1 to Warband.
Do I sound good again?
Yeah, you're saying better.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought I fixed it like halfway through the fight, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
I had a fun interaction with her play by play, tried my best. I don't know how it went, but the side of Warband were just able to survive the early game. This Orianna carried them through this early game, and just Winter J putting in a huge performance on this Orianna to carry his team.
Yeah, Winter J definitely taking back their team from a, I mean,
They
all
were
things
almost
considered, kind of small deficit.
Yeah, I mean, they were 5k down or 4k down at 10 minutes in, which can be hard for this comp to overcome, especially since they're into a Jeff and Lee Sin with a lot of power early game, but they were just able to hold out and take a few good fights, which ended up turning the game. And the Jinx actually ended this game with more gold than the Caitlyn, which I did not expect.
Yeah, where you do see the rough laning phase back though is still on the big CS lead, Fluffy Head.
Yeah, it's still 70 CS ahead of on this Caitlyn, but the Caitlyn mid game not her strongest point. So she just was hitting tanks the entire time, and she wasn't really dealing damage to the tanks because the tanks.
Yeah, exactly. As we're just getting ready for game 2, I heard we were gonna have like a around 10-minute break because our streamer boy had to do something. And oh, I just heard he will be back in time, so it's not gonna be quite 10 minutes, but we will take a little break as we get ready for game 2. Okay. And hello everyone, welcome back. As we are getting ready for game 2 after just a interesting comeback we just saw in game 1.
Yeah, the Ariana putting the team on her back and finishing off and carrying them through this early game. So the Jinx scaling can come online. I wonder if there'll be any changes to the bans.
Yeah, as it appears that the teams have swapped sides and also Desired S has been subbed out for Speechless Moob. Gonna be
Yeah,
interested to see how that changes things.
yeah. I wonder if Built by Earth are going to opt for a different team comp this time. Maybe choose less of the early game team comp and go for a more scaling comp. But they did execute the early game pretty well, so we see the Garen ban. I think this is specifically targeted against Moob. He is a big Garen player in solo queue, and this time we see the Caitlyn banned on the blue side. They don't want to gift this Caitlyn again. It was a bit of an issue in lane. Makes sense to ban it out.
Yeah, cannot always bank on your mid laner to come help you out when you have a laning phase like that.
Yeah. Again, we see the Corki ban, another still a strong pick, especially on blue side. You can just pick it first, and it's pretty safe into most lanes. And you have really good scaling with this Corki. We also see the Malzahar ban. This is specifically targeted against Toad. He seems to play a lot of Malzahar in solo queue. And we see the first pink Jinx. Had a bit of a rough lane, but ended up doing a lot of damage last game.
Yeah, as we also see the Sejuani adaptation ban from
Yeah,
game 1.
makes a lot of sense. Take some of these tanky junglers out of the pool. Try to limit senior coaches' jungle pool a bit. Do we
Yeah,
see the Jin response to the Jinx? The
yeah,
Jin,
again, definitely a favorable lane for Jin, but again, gets outscaled by the Jinx, so kinda same deal as game 1.
yeah, the Jin, a very strong laner with his force sharp, but if he's hitting a few tanks later on, like the team comp that Warband had last game, it might be an issue later on. We also see the Yumi, the
Yeah,
Yumi
banned
scaling in with
game
the
1,
Jinx.
it may come in now this time.
It gets through because of the Sejuani ban. Pairing this with the Jinx, later on the Jinx is just going to be running at you. And with if she decides to get a rapid fire, a Runan's Hurricane, oh, we don't see the Yumi. We instead see the Nautilus. Pretty decent matchup into Leona, I think. You are able to cancel the Leona Q with your hook if you can time it right. So we'll see if Winter J. Oh, I don't know. Oh, the support for Warband is able to get the timing right and nullify this lane.
Yeah, as the Jarvan is also now being picked away. Of course, no, not Imoke. Desired S played it, of course, game 1.
Of course, yeah.
I'm still getting bamboozled by the Jarvan top, even in the next gem select.
And we see a Lee Sin hover as well here. Will it be another Javin, but this time he won't have the Lee Sin on his team? We
Yeah,
do
this
see
time
the
it will not
Trundle
be
come
Sin.
out. The Trundle comes out, pretty good answer into the Javin, the Nautilus. He can take some of the stats and he can just right click them down. Pretty good into tanks.
Yeah,
We see the
definitely
Orianna
an
ban.
insanely good matchup into Jarvan. Can knock him out of the combo with the pillar as well.
I'm not surprised. We see the Orianna ban. Winter J did have a really good performance on it last game. Don't want to run that back. We also see an Urgot ban, which is
Yeah,
interesting.
don't want to deal with that Hillbreaker again, I guess.
Yeah. I didn't think Urgot was that big of an issue last game. I think it was mainly the Orianna and the Jinx, but I guess they don't want to deal with it again, so they just ban it out.
Yeah, looks like it. And then the Malphite gets banned.
Yeah, moves. Two most played champions in solo queue have just been banned, so I wonder what it'll pick in response to it. Looks like a Dr. Mundo have a quite another tank champion that can just sort of stand in front of this Jin and watch the Jinx hit him, but the Jinx does more than enough damage to deal with tanks. So we'll have to see how
Yeah,
the
I
fights play
am
out.
personally not a fan of it because Mundo, of course, goes where he pleases, but if he gets cataclysmed, he can't. Like, that doesn't count as a CC, he's just stuck in there.
Yeah, you can't walk through walls. Do we
As
see
the Gwen is being picked into it.
the Gwen into Mundo? I'm not sure how that matchup goes, but Gwen, pretty good level 1, so she might just be able to bully this Mundo early, because Mundo's level 1 isn't the best. She might just be able to keep consistent top priority and shut this Mundo down before he even has a chance to really do anything. We also see the Akali. We'll have to
Yeah,
see what Solo picks in response to it, but
picking up the double AP solo laners with the Jarvan in the jungle is definitely really good because you're gonna see Trundle buying that MR against the Gwen, and then Jarvan just comes in and he has no armor.
yeah. This Gwen Akali, very heavy AP damage on the side of built by us, but they've also just got this Jinx who will be doing huge damage. We'll see a Lissandra counter pick into the Akali. Lissandra can just spam Q on this wave, get it pushed out, and Akali might struggle to roam a bit in this matchup.
Yeah, the only thing I can say is, other than the Jinx and then I guess the Lissandra, but it's fairly short range, there's not a lot of wave clear on either side of these teams.
We also have pro comps telling us that both these teams are pretty even in scaling, with the blue side being a bit weaker early, but they might scale a bit better later on. And
Yeah, that is of course that the Trundle is gonna scale off of the Jarvan or the Nautilus.
yeah, I would say I agree with pro comps. The Jinx scaling pretty insane, especially that since she's hitting free frontline tanks. She just needs to buy a lot of damage and can start shredding these tanks.
Yeah, and of course, as you mentioned, the Jhin doesn't really do a lot to tanks, but there's no true tank he's trying to shoot. It's Jarvan who builds like a bruiser, and then there's a tanky support who, of course, never will be as tanky as like a Dr. Mundo or a Malphite or a Cho'Gath or anything like that.
Yeah, that is
While
true.
Lissandra is most likely going for the Liandris, and she just, especially if she gets like 1 or 2 kills rolling early on, she will just take over a fight.
However, the Jhin might struggle into this Gwen and this Akali, because Gwen obviously has the W. She just goes invulnerable to any ability that is hit from outside of the range, and Jhin can't really press ult to try to kill a Gwen because she just counters it. Same with Akali and the Shroud. Jhin has to read the Akali perfectly inside the Shroud to actually hit his shot on her. So it seems like this Jhin might struggle into this comp even though there isn't many tanks.
Yeah, and of course, when the Jhin opens up the curtain call, there's always the threat of the Jarvan diving on him, the Akali diving on him, the Nautilus just ulting him. Point to click, very easy, especially if you're standing still. It doesn't have to travel anywhere, it's already there.
So if we're going into this second game, who would you say would be favoured inside this draft?
I would say this is most likely going to be a 2-0.
Yeah, I completely agree. They've got the Jinx scaling again. They've got Winter J on another, on a carry champion this time. Oriana isn't typically a carry champion, but he was able to carry on that champion, which was pretty impressive. He's also got a Jarvan early game, so even though they've got a bit of a weak early game compared to built by us, they might just be able to have a pretty easy time scaling, because to be honest, is not that weak early game.
Yeah, well, I think they do have a losing matchup, like pure 1v1 in mid lane and in the bot lane, the 2v2, they lose as well. I feel like Jarvan's ganks are just better than Trundle's. Like, if they find each other in the jungle, I think Trundle wins, but
Yeah, I
Jarvan just
completely
has more
agree.
setup than the Trundle.
Yeah, the Nautilus hook also works pretty well with Jarvan, right? Because the Jarvan paths towards bot side, Nautilus hits a hook, and Jarvan just jumps on whoever gets hooked, and they are able to burst him down pretty quickly.
Yeah, very true. As we finally hop into loading screen and then just have a quick delay to sync us up with our streamer and each other.
Yeah, hopefully it goes a bit smoother this time.
We're just gonna do the, as we call it, the British Blaze thread.
The 10-second strat, yeah.
And hopefully that will make us transition smoother. Gwen picking up the Ignite TP as well, by the way, into the Mundo. I can say I'm
Yeah,
definitely a fan of that.
you're not a fan of it, or you are,
I
did you
am
say?
definitely a fan of that.
Yeah, I
Of course,
completely
Mundo
agree.
known for his healing, and Gwen is one of those champions that can get away with not having flash.
I'm paused at 10.
Yep. And here we go, a lot smoother this time.
Yeah, no 30-second delay. I wonder if we'll see any invades. Both teams just seem to be running right down mid. We might have a level 1 fight right now.
Yeah, we may have a little ARAM going on here.
Both teams trying to get control of this bot river.
They're just gonna... Oh, the hook goes in on the Lissandra. The swag flag. But of course no combo as they just pile on top of each other. The bouncing grenade bounces to everyone, of course, in this clutch area. As Jarvan also picks up Leona here. Jin is kinda on the wrong side of the map right now. I wonder if they know. It looks like they don't. So it's gonna be only 3 kills.
But Warband picking up these 3 kills early, pretty huge for this scaling comp. The Gwen able to buy a cloth armor for this Trundle matchup. Oh no, the Mundo matchup. They're not in order, so I'm getting a little confused.
Yeah. That's...
Able to pick up a cloth armor, you can survive for this matchup pretty easily. The Jarvan picks up an extra longsword, and the Jinx picks up. Oh, the Akali picks up a Dark Seal as well. Pretty good
Yeah.
setup for.
Jinx with only 3 assists just picks up a control ward, I guess.
Yeah, at least you can have some early protection from some ganks.
Yeah, I mean the Trundle is starting topside, so his first gank will most likely be either bot or mid.
Yeah, most likely. The Jarvan chooses to start bot side. Maybe he wants to try and get this Gwen ahead early. He knows his bot lane, just wants to sit there and scale, so yeah, I think it makes sense trying to impact this top matchup as soon as possible.
Yeah, as another hook lands on Fluffy Bunny here. He tries to run away with the 4th shot movement speed. And he does get out, but just not a favorable trade for him there.
That relax, it's already hitting these hooks with the Nautilus.
Yeah,
Looks
as
like
he's level 2 first and Soho just doesn't respect it, is still trying to hit the minions, almost dies to the Jinx rockets, just barely gets out.
able to get to the range. The Jinx not able to do quite enough damage right now to kill the Leona, but with the way this current bot lane is going, I really think this game's going to be very hard for Built by Us.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be very hard as they are already being outskilled and now behind in the early game. As Mundo is just trying to trade a little bit. Zenith Blade doesn't connect, but Trundle is here. Gets the slow of the pillar on Old Boy, but then turns on Nautilus. Nautilus has to flash.
Yeah, Cat Relax just able to root the Trundle and then flash away. So Trundle, he ganks bot but can't get anything done right now. He gets the flash, so maybe a repeat gank. But the flash was only on Nautilus, so it might not be worth it.
Yeah, it's just some more trading going on in the top lane. IMDOC is almost having his Ignite back up though. May look to do another all-in very soon with that Ignite advantage. Is going in here now and takes the Ignite and just snips him up. Very easy pick up there on the side of IMDOC.
And that's a solo kill for the Gwen. The Ignite instead of the Flash actually working out. The Gwen obviously doesn't need the Flash for it either, but
Yeah, as another hook lands on Solo, Mr. Fluffy has to burn the heal to get his support out, and he does get her out. But
as
just
I,
even more
as I,
unfortunate trading here.
as I was saying, the Gwen obviously doesn't need Flash because her E is pretty much the same thing, but you get attack speed with it as well. But I'm the OC's ability to use that to get a free solo kill inside the top lane is pretty impressive.
Yeah, of course, using the Ignite in the invade gets it back up and instantly uses it again to just get another kill.
And this Gwen's already on a shutdown 5 minutes into the game. Pretty huge for this scaling comp.
Yeah, it looks like he is just gonna go for the Riftmaker first item rather than going for the Nashus first, as he just takes half of Spleeches' move away with just a Q. Of course, fully stacked, but even so, that's just not supposed to happen this early on in the game.
The Akali has also been able to build up a pretty big CS lead mid, so it looks like on the side of Warband, all the lanes are winning, and they scale a lot better than built by
Yeah,
us.
we just need to see when Dragon... Oh, Speechless Move may be in trouble here again.
Getting a bit too aggressive on that Mundo. You've got a recall now, and you don't have TP to get back to this lane. You could get very punished for this.
It's on the level 6 now as well. If he just barely misses the timing to stop Speechless Move's base, that would have most likely been another solo kill.
Yeah, most likely. The Jarvan is now on the Drake though. It looks like maybe a fight.
I think the Chompers just do enough of the zoning to
Yeah, the
not
Chompers just
have
stop
them
the
walk in there.
engage. The first strike goes over to Warband. Pretty good start for Warband.
Yeah, it will be a Mountain Drake, which is honestly not the best on their team, but it's more of a denial as well. As we may
Yeah,
be looking for a fight in bot lane.
getting this first Drake and your team is scaling means that even if you're in a bad situation for the next two Drakes, you can just decide to give and look for farm or anything else on the map, and you're still in a pretty good spot, and you don't have to worry about soul point.
Yeah, and it does look like AmDOC is going for that Riftmaker first, as Moke may be looking for a little lane gank here. With the Trundle. Senior coaching is on his red buff, so he is not gonna be there fast. The hook goes in on Mr. Fluffy Bunny. As Old Boy just gets caught by the Zenith Blade and the pillar. Flashes after him. Unfortunately, Soho picks up the kill as everyone runs into the jumpers. As the Zenith Blade follows Cat Relax on the hook. And Senior Casting goes in on Fluffy. Flashes on him. Does not catch him though. As another hook on the wall for Cat to get out. But gets hit by the Zenith Blade again. As finally Mr. Fluffy picks up a kill. As AmDOC almost kills Speechless Move again. On the top lane. Had to
Yeah,
flash away, but did burn the Ignite.
Cat Relax just not respecting that the Imoki Trundle could just be sat in this bot bush. You've got no vision of him around the map. You've not tracked his jungle properly, and he's sat in a bush, so when you go for this hook, you just get engaged on by a Trundle Leona, and the Jinx, she can flash away, but it's a Trundle. He's pretty fast.
Yeah, followed with the flash as well, as it looks like Mr. Fluffy wants to base, but Old Boy doesn't let him. But maybe this is just a bait because Toad is in the area. Hitting the ult there on the Jinx. Naughty blocks the fourth shot. And the deadly flourish as Old Boy just barely walks away with his life.
Really nice bait play there from Mr. Fluffy Bunny. A little skirmish top. It's just a bit of back and forth trading. Mr. Fluffy Bunny there, not forcing, but baiting Old Boy into staying a bit longer. And they almost are able to punish, but Cat Relax just able to block the 4th shot in the Jin W, saving his ADC.
As this Mundo is just gonna have an even worse time every time we looked up. Just getting snipped up by the Gwen.
Yeah, and this Mundo's wave is actually pushing inside into the Gwen. So if Gwen just wants, she can hold this wave in front of her tower, and Mundo can't really step up anymore because he just gets out traded.
Yeah, she may be waiting for her ult to come back up. As she does go in now with the ult. Trying to snip him away before he can regen. Slowly killing him. Picks up another solo kill there. This time without the ignite.
Another solo kill for this Gwen. This Gwen is now 3-0 and on a 300 gold shutdown. Not even basing right now, but I'm sure when she bases, she'll be almost to that mythic item.
Yeah, it may be a Riftmaker completed, or at least very close, as Natty just goes for an ult on the Jhin, gets stunned by Leona. Just a lot of trading there. The Chompers just plays perfectly to block Sowa's way out, but still just doesn't quite have the damage to kill her.
Yeah, still not quite enough damage on this Jinx. Her early game isn't the best damage, but once she's got that Kraken Slayer, she'll start shredding the tanks on the side off, built by us.
Yeah, as the Solar Flag comes in now on the Jinx. Deadly Flourish followed up as well. The exhaust goes out on Mr. Fluffy Bunny though. Almost trading it back, but the Fort Shot takes him down as the Curtain Call is now gonna maybe catch Natty, but has to cancel for the Jarvan. Has to use heal as well, and so flashes the Cataclysm. As we now have Imoke coming in on the Trundle, maybe pillaring them off, but just doesn't quite catch it fast enough. As now Winter J is here again as well to trade the kills. As even more fighting in the top lane now. Mundo just is able to back off this time.
Winter J coming in at the last minute just to pick up a kill on this Jhin. I think it was a shutdown as well. Exactly what you want for this Akali. She's now set on a shutdown as well herself.
Yeah,
she's also
and now also taking up the second Drake. That Infernal.
They're taking second Drake and they've got 2 really strong solo laners right now.
As there's even more fighting now in the top lane. The Ignite comes out again, as does the Gwen ult, but Mundo just is a little too tanky now. Goes for the Bramblefest as well to cut down that healing on the Gwen, but doesn't really work for her damage. As we will be getting an Ocean Rift. So even more healing for whoever picks up this soul.
Both Gwen and Akali are pretty far ahead already. Like, they are both around 30 CS ahead of their lane opponent. So it might be tough for Built by Us this game.
Yeah, as AmDOC just dashes through the pillar there.
Yeah, Trundle seems to be struggling into a lot of these dash champs.
Yeah, and as well, I believe we missed it, but Senior Coacher also actually picked up the Herald at some point.
Oh, the directed cam doesn't want to show his Shelly.
Yeah, it's already almost timing out, so I'm guessing that was quite a while ago.
I would hope that this either goes top or bot, get some more plates either onto your Gwen, or try to get your Jinx to a Kraken Slayer so you can start doing damage in the team fights.
It does look like he's spotting bot, and he had to drop it at the inner tower, so it was actually timing out. Just really awkward there on the timing, but...
It's going to make it to this bot lane in time. I hope they can get some plates onto this Jinx because of it.
Yeah. Winter J also roaming down on the Akali. They may be setting up a dive here with the Herald charging in. Winter J showing maybe a little bit too early here. Gonna get a little bit of damage. As the Herald now charges in. As the Jarvan goes in with the Cataclysm. Just catches everyone. As Winter J tries to just pick up the kills. And Old Boy just kind of sprints it into the tower, getting a little bit too excited maybe. Barely survives. As now the Nautilus is tanking the tower. Winter Jake getting the Shuriken and just picking up another kill on Toad. Now getting even more fat.
A pretty clean dive onto this bot lane, and they get the tower as well. I was a bit worried about the old boy though, because he was tanking a lot of tower shots, but he managed to get just out in time. And the Lissandra re-engage onto the Akali also put the Akali pretty low, but they were able to pull off the dive anyway.
Yeah, I believe that was a 4-1, only the Jarvan dying there. And then I'm also just picking up the first turret with that Herald. That may have been timed a little bit awkward, but it worked out in the end.
Yeah. A very good dive from the side of Warband. And this Gwen, she just keeps getting further and further ahead in this top side. She's starting to work on this top tower. And
Yeah,
the
having
Mundo,
her Ignite back up now as well, so we may be
another
seeing her
potential
trying for
solo kill.
another solo kill.
Mundo is already half HP, so
Yeah, does have the ult up, so and she goes in with the ult and the Ignite, just slowly snipping away, getting another solo kill.
predicted it perfectly. The Shuriken onto Jin.
Yeah, going in maybe a little bit too much. The Trundle now showing up as well. Still almost killing Mr. Fluffy Bunny, dying to the Ignite actually, and she gets out as well. The Subjugate is not gonna deal enough damage. Going back in with the Shuriken as Gwen has arrived with the TP. Almost killing Imoke, just barely getting out as Soho is just getting absolutely slaughtered here. Just gonna flash the wall most likely. Yeah, she gets out. Both of them barely lived. That could have been a total disaster, having 2 kills. 2 more kills going over to Gwen.
Yeah, this Akali is just very strong right now, so even in the 1v3, she's just able to kill this Jin. And
as again, Herald has been picked up off screen. The Observer just doesn't give a shit about Shelly. As the curtain roll now comes out to zone them off, maybe not getting the second Herald charge in, but getting the mid lane tower is still very big in and of itself.
And it opens up a potential for this Drake as well, because this mid lane is going to start pushing, and this Drake comes up in 20 seconds.
As Mundo is now actually trying to trade a turret with the Demolish as well. And of course the EAA reset.
It looks like Built by Us is just giving up this Drake and saying, we can get a bounty topside. Maybe Mundo can get 2 towers. We'll just gift this Drake and fight for the next one.
Yeah, as Winter Jay is just jumping on Mr. Fluffy Bunny again. Doesn't quite connect the Shuriken, I believe. Ulting in on Soho now.
This does put Warband onto sub point though. And it's an Ocean Drake with a Gwen, with a Jarvan, and with an Akali. This is very scary for Built by Us right now.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see even more anti-heal than just a double Bramble Vest from Mundo and Trundle here. We're gonna have to see that Morello on Lissandra, and while it's not optimal on the Jhin, it almost has to be the anti-heal on Jhin as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. It looks like Jin's going into Collector, which I'm not too sure about, seeing as the side of Warband does have quite a bit of armor, so I don't know how much value we'll get out of it, but obviously Jhin 4-shot synergizes with Collector very well.
Yeah, well, it does synergize very well. I think it's a good item on Jhin when you're ahead, but he's just not. So maybe should have opted into that more just tank shred type of item in maybe the Lord Doms. Or, as I said already, the anti-heal maybe for the Gwen and the Akali, as we see even more trading in the top lane. Not quite another solo kill, but a Deadly Flourish almost connecting, but just a good W timing there. As Mundo pops the ult to get the movement speed, but Gwen just snips away. As Gwen is now going back in on the Trundle. Maybe that's not what you wanted. As a Cataclysm comes out, but he's so deep No one can follow as he's flashing out. The curtain call now tries to kill them, but Gwen is just snipping everyone. She's way too big. As Toad is now going in. Maybe she should have ulted herself there instead of the Jinx, as she just gets popped. Old Boy now maybe going a little bit too far, but with the Jarvan backing up and the rockets, she can get Soho and then also Mr. Fluffy Bunny.
And that's an ace for Warband. Very well played.
Yeah, a clean ace as well. No one dying there. As Gwen pings her own bounty to 700.
Wants us to know. The Jin struggling to get any damage on that fight. Like I said, he can't really hit the Gwen, he can't really hit the Akali, so he's just got to hit the tanky Jarvan.
Yeah, at least Old Boy was halfway through the fight walking up a little bit too far and did get shot a couple times, but it was just not enough to trade a kill, as AmnioC just really doesn't care about Mundo. Just takes the whole wave in front of his face.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to see it this game, but there is potential for Jin to get a Death Dance. It might protect him from the dive that is on the side of Warband, and it synergizes very well with Jin because as a champion, Jin can get around 600 bonus AD, so he heals a lot from Death Dance. So it might be a good call to opt into the Death Dance on Jin.
Yeah, of course, with the Bruiser item, sorta soft rework. It healing with your AD
Oh,
now.
bonus AD. So
And of
Jin,
course, Jin not getting any of the attack speed stats, just opting into the full AD with his passive.
yeah, all your crit, all your attack speed gets converted into AD. So it's not unusual to see a Jin with 700 AD at the end of the game.
We also might see a Ma for the exact same reason, and them
Um,
having a fat Gwen and Akali.
Potentially.
Just getting a shield that's twice as big as its HP bar.
Yeah, Warband is very heavy AP inside this mid and top, and they're both pretty far ahead. This Gwen on a 700 gold shutdown. She's now on 2 items building towards the third, whereas Mundo only on the 1.5 items so far. And it looks like they're just going to take this Baron, and Built
Yeah,
by
it looks
Us
like there's
might be
not even
late.
gonna be a contest. Soho is still on bot side.
They are walking towards the Baron.
They have figured it out now. Coacher is getting quite low from the Baron actually, so they have to back off.
Yeah, and I think the call is just going to be reset, run towards the Drake. Hopefully they haven't given it up. But I don't think the Baron was the right call, especially with
Yeah,
Drake
that's also
respawning.
gonna be a really awkward back timing from them here, but they seem to only lose their mid tower for it and will be able to contest the dragon, I think.
I think Built by Us also made a mistake though. Instead of taking the Drake to stop this soul parent fight, they just take the mid tower. They get a bounty, but
Yeah, Akali is just going in 1v3 here, gets instantly popped as the fight on dragon is now going on. Gwen taking both Trundle and the dragon and Leona now as well with the ult and the Qs. As everyone is just getting cleaned up right now.
and that is Ocean Soul for Warband with this Gwen and this Akali. In that
They,
fight, the Jinx was just sat on the opposite side of the Drake wall, just free firing, while the Gwen was inside the pit tanking everything and shredding the tanks with her ult and her Q.
yeah, they did pick up the Akali at the beginning of the fight. Maybe Winter J was a little bit too early with that engage, but it ended up working out perfectly for them. Getting the Ocean Soul, getting the Ace, and now also getting the Baron most likely. It's not going down that fast.
Yeah, it's very slow without the Gwen here, but we'll see if Trundle is able to potentially steal it.
The Blastcone is there if he wants to look for something. He's gonna pop a ward on it. Goes a little bit too early here. Gets exhausted instantly. And just doesn't have the damage to get it low enough himself. The curtain call comes out as Akali jumps on the curtain call and just cleans him up. really easily. Of course, standing still.
Yeah, very
Burns
well played
both
from
sums as well, and the Gale. Oh, not the Gale Force actually. That was already on cooldown. My bad. But
very well
using
played
both
from
sums to get away.
very well played from the side of Warband inside the pit though. The second the Trundle hopped over, they stopped hitting the Drake, immediately turned on Trundle, and Trundle was sat in the pit with a 2k HP Baron that he can't smite down. So they get a free kill onto the Trundle and they get the Drake, the Baron as well. Very well played from Warband.
Yeah, as we are going to see a 1-3-1 here now.
Yeah,
With Gwen top, Akali bot, and then the rest of them mid. With
yeah,
that Baron buff.
the power of this comp, you just put Gwen in one side lane, put Akali in the other, and they've both got so much escape.
As they're already just forcing a fight as the 3-man on the Lissandra there had to self-ult after being cataclysmed. Super Mega Death Rocket also missed, and the Nautilus ult is also now on cooldown. So while they did burn Lissandra's flash, it was just not worth it. Subjugate going on the Jarvan there, who tries to go for the Raptor steal. Takes half his health in the process, but now Gwen just catches onto the Trundle. Just cleans him up very cleanly.
Yeah, almost a 13k gold lead on the side of Warband is looking very doomed for Built by Us right now. They've just got to watch as these side of Warband just is able to push down the mid towers and the bot towers. They can't really do much in response without having the Trundle, and they're also just very behind in gold, so even if they tried, I don't know if it would work out.
Yeah, just taking up inhibitor number 1. Jarvan just tanking up inhibitor turret number 2. Getting the inhibitor as well, and they also have their wave actually at the top side, so if they want, I think they can just take that as well. It doesn't look like they are though.
They seem to be
Or they
walking up
are, they
towards
just taking
top
it
side.
very safely.
Yeah,
Just pathing outside of the base rather than going for the greedy route.
the curtain call comes out.
Curtain Call just comes out, but that's on a Gwen and it already barely deals any damage. Fourth shot just tickles the Jinx there. As Mundo just gets picked up, Akali in the backline, Jhin had to go force out as everyone else is being caught in the Cataclysm. Proteveld killing the Jhin there on the side as the combo misses from the Jarvan on the Leona there, just barely makes it out, but I don't think Leona Trundle are gonna be able to defend triple inhib down with that Baron buff. Actually, Baron just timed out, which is the only small silver lining, but Trundle is just already almost dead under the Nexus as the Gale Force from Jinx kills the Leona there as they're taking the base.
Yeah, they're just going to finish this off. TP, obviously, at the end of the game. But pretty dominant game from Warband overall. They just win the early game on this scaling comp, and it feels like there's not much Built by Us can do about it to stop it.
Yeah, so it looks like Warband is going to stay undefeated for yet another week.
Yeah, they're at the top of the leaderboard right now. Built by Us, a bit lower down. I wonder if what will happen next week. Will be fun to watch these games.
Yeah, I think for BBUA, the only thing you can take away is in game 1, you did have quite the early game lead. If you can just get it up a little bit cleaner in the mid game, they could and should have won that game. So at least you can work with that and try and get cleaner.
Yeah,
Game 2 was just a total disaster.
yeah. Game 1, they did have the Caitlyn, but Caitlyn can be difficult to play around. You've got to get her unlocked as fast as possible, or else she's just gonna sort of fall off in the mid game. I think we are going to have an interview with Old Boy, the Jinx from both games. Very good performance on that Jinx.
And here he is, the man of the hour,
Hi
Mr.
guys, you're
Old
right.
Boy.
Hi guys, you
Hello,
good?
hello.
Hello. So, how do you think the games went today?
They were good. Like the first game was a bit tragic. We decided to sort of just show our bot lane. We're pretty confident in the Jinx pick. So we knew that we were going to give up quite a lot. And obviously they hit us with the Caitlyn Lux pick, and that was super hard to deal with. But I mean, we trust in our solo laners and our junglers, so we knew we can carry from elsewhere. And as you know, with the Jinx pick, if it goes post 20, which most gold to plat games do, it's just going to run amok, isn't it? Really. So, but yeah, I think we overall, I think we cleaned up our early, which is really, really nice. Our mid laner was screaming down the mic, enjoying himself on a Carly, so everyone was having fun.
Yeah.
I think Mr. J enjoyed himself a little bit too much on the Akali sometimes, especially on the Dragon Soul fight.
Yeah. So we've been together for a while, and one of my greatest failings as a guy that leads the team is stopping Jay from inting. It's one of the but he loves it, right? He's always going to take a fight if he can. But on that Ori pick, like that's when he's locked in, right? He can carry a game, and then when you pair him with Caleb and Michael in our mid and jungle, like we've got such a strong rest of the map, right? That it's really cool. But no, we really enjoyed the games. We've been looking for a 2-0. I mean, from our last games, we were pretty annoyed about dropping games. So it was really nice to get a 2-0. Bill played really well. But yeah, we do a ton of drafting prep, and I think if you look at both comps overall, outside of the early game, I think both comps were pretty solid, and did exactly what we needed them to do.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. You had the comps that just scaled well. So even though the early game had been rough, the first game, you was just able to come back.
Yeah, that's just plat and gold though, right? Like very rarely are you going to watch a team end before 25 minutes at this kind of level. So as long as we go even and we don't lose too hard, I back us to do what we need to do, right? But it would be nice to not get Lux and Caitlyn ever again. I think I'm a little bit scarred. I think I was at 17 CS 5 minutes in. I was just watching Kate farm, and I was a little bit jealous. I won't lie.
Yeah, that
maybe
can be
definitely a little bit scarred about the recalling in the bush there in a turret. And you and your duo laner just get sniped.
We went there, we're like, Lux has got ult, hasn't she? And then I was like, yeah. And then we just saw it, and I was like, yeah, we're dead. But yeah, it is what it is, right? The thing is about Lux is all you got to do is pop her, and she's so easy to pop at any time. I think the good thing about game one was once we transitioned out of that early game, and we got out of the skirmishes, our team was super clean. I think there was one round Drake where the Jarvan takes a really aggressive engage to get on me. Diana follows, and I don't even have to burn flash. I've got Cat, I've got Michael, the jungler and support, just peeling. I could have generally had a cup of tea as I kept aura attacking. It was beautiful.
Yeah, you were able to do a lot of damage on this Jinx, just managing to avoid the engages from the other team. And a Jinx free firing, that's very scary.
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? Like, I think at the moment, like I said, because we've been together for so long, I've made sure that all of our champion pools are quite fast. So, I mean, Jinx is just, if we could, look, keep giving me Jinx. I'll take her all game, every game. It's never a problem. She's just really fun to play. But I just need someone to beat our mids so he stops telling me he's the best mid in the league. So if someone can do that, I'll give you a $5. I'll give you a skin.
You should scream us in Fireflies then.
My man saw a free skin, went for it. I like that. No, definitely. I think we're new to the league, right? So I think we're going to start scrimming from this week because we're still quite new to the server and stuff. So yeah, I think for us, we want to get to Div 2 as quickly as possible, and then obviously just compete at the highest level we can in the Valorant League. So I mean, I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah, and on the subject of finding a mid laner that can beat your mid lane, is there any teams you're worried about facing?
In all honesty, no, but that's because we don't really know, right? Because we're so new, it's difficult for me to go, I'm scared of someone or I'm fearful of someone. I think we're one of the only teams that's undefeated. I think Mochi's the other one. I could be wrong. But yeah, it's difficult to be scared of someone when you don't know how they play. And I mean, the team's supremely confident. It's one of those things we don't know until we get beaten, right? Until we get beaten, we don't know. So I'm really excited to go against the Haven guys, the Mochi guys as well, just from the tier lists, right? Because I've had to take that as gospel. But I think just for us as a team, I mean, the guys we've been together for quite a while. So, I mean, I think so far everyone we've beaten has been rated higher than us, and we've managed to do it. Caleb was like our top laner, was rated the worst top laner in the power rankings, and since then I think he's been smashing solo queue because he was a little bit tilted from it, and I think the mid was the same. Like, I think Jay would pay good money for you to do the power rankings again to help his ego. But yeah, no, like this, we're really enjoying it. It's really good fun playing in the division. But yeah, outside of Mochi and Haven, you want to be the best, and we've seen one before, or been close to it. So yeah, what beat those two teams as much as possible.
Yeah, with the power rankings, if no one knows you, you're a new team, aren't you? So
100%. That's what you try. Yeah.
You're not going to get as high, but next split.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's what you try to tell the players, right? You tell the players, like, look, no one knows who you are. That's why you are where you are. But you know how it is, right? With players, they're the best at everything they do. You know what I mean? They should all be diamond, playing with Faker and stuff. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's good. I prefer to be the underdog. You know what I mean? The players play well with a chip on the shoulder anyway. And you know, I mean, I really think we're strong contenders for the league. Obviously, we won't know until we get to best of threes and stuff like that. So all we can do is keep winning in doing what we're doing, right?
So actually, using power rankings as a source of motivation.
100%, right? 100%. It's my fault, to be fair. I didn't get the poor guy asked for the OPGG and where we play, and I couldn't get it to him. So it's probably my fault that everyone's ranked so low anyway. So yeah, it's all strategy, 5D chess and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hop in. Last split, our support didn't even get ranked at all.
Our support's the highest ranked, which she loves telling everyone in our team. Even though, like I said, we're pretty strong across the board, right? It's one of those things. I think one of the things that really benefit us is we have been together long. I mean, I do have a lot of resources in regards to coaches, in regards to draft prep and stuff like that, and we use all of those resources. And there's nothing stopping us from going into every game like super prepared. I mean, we've managed to identify weak people in every team we've gone against. I think the only time we've ever been surprised was game one, where I think the Vikings just whipped out a trundle pick out of absolutely nowhere, and we were just like nanny in chat because we just had no idea they could play it. But outside of that, we've been, you know, I mean, super prepared, and even when we've subbed in a different ADC, we've had the same results so far. So, you know, I mean, zero complaints from me.
But yeah, talking about the resource that you were just mentioning there. So obviously being a team manager of X7, who's currently, I think, joint first in the NLC, with former world champion Haru on the roster. So how many tips do you get from Haru? Do you just kind of have him on speed dial, like mid game if need be, like kind of get him a shout? It's like, quick, I don't know what to build third item.
I'll get him to watch it sometime and he can just laugh at us, yeah? No, so the players at NLC, their job is to win NLC, right? I don't need to budge them at all. I let them do them. What I mainly use the academy players, if I'm honest. You're looking at Grandmaster and Master tier players. So players who know exactly what they're doing, exactly how to win, as well as the coaching staff there as well. Super, super influential. And you know, I mean, I help with drafting. I help with anything I can do previously before this split. So, I mean, we know what we're talking about, right? And when you've got players I've got 10 sets of players there who can walk into any Div 2, Div 1 team to rely on as a resource. So, you know what I mean? It's like we're talking about strong jungle picks, right? And they're telling me how Zin's different levels. I was watching damage graphs and stuff like that. When you've got that kind of resource, it makes drafting and prep an absolute dream, right? And absolutely, when we had a boot camp in London, I absolutely went to Harry. I went, Harry, who's a good jungler. We've got Valorant for League in like a week. He just looked at me confused.
So here's one thing. So
Yeah.
obviously, being a team manager, you're looking down on your team. You're like hoping they do well more than anything,
Yeah, of
or
course.
maybe almost more than anything. So which do you get more hype from? At the end of a VL match when you just come out of it and win it yourself, and you've played in the game and you try and pull it back, or when you watch the NLC game?
It's super weird, right? So when you're playing, you don't really feel pressure as much. Like you just play, as you probably know yourself. When you're a team manager and you're watching NLC and there's nothing you can do, you're living and breathing every second of that game, and it is stressful. There's a reason why I'm bald, and it's because I've been doing management for the last year and a bit. So I think I get more excited about playing, but I'm more nervous watching. I think that's probably the best way to answer that. It was the first week we played was quite nerve wracking, but no, watching and winning with my friends is always really, really good fun. But X7, it's a career, right? It's a job. So we have to win. There's no other choice. There's real world implications if we don't pull off wins, right? So I would trade a Valorant win for an X7 win every day.
Oh, right.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's NLC. It's EU Masters potentially.
But what about the extra £5 at the end of the split? You may win.
I'm probably giving it to the players anyway. I do this all for fun, right? Like the money's not a big thing for me, really. It's for the guys. It's for a lot of our guys. It's their first proper taste of an organised competition, which was why we came here. For me, it is good fun. It's just good fun. But like I said, we take it really, really seriously. Like we're doing draft prep 4 or 5 days before we've even got into the game. You know what I mean? So for us, it's just doing really well, prepping, and then hopefully finishing off with a trip to Insomnia. In April. So hopefully doing some sort of LAN event as a team would be really cool. So that's probably what it will all go to.
You don't say. Well, that's enough from out of me. I'll let the other two finish up.
Yeah.
That's actually so funny when he asked that. I was like, "Oh, shit! I thought you were just a fanboy, but you're actually just a part of the fucking
Yeah, I'm
organization."
part of the org. Yeah, I've been with them for about a year and a little bit now. Started with UKL and then the calibration, and now with NLC. Really crazy journey, right? So learned so much in terms of scrims, prep, worked with some really cool coaches. Get to see some really awesome players play League of Legends, like some of the best who ever have done it. And it's always super cool doing that. Like people, when you meet these guys, they're just normal people, which is really cool. So yeah, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. But yeah, not just a fanboy, not just a pretty face. I'm the old guy behind the scenes that's pulling all the strings and helping high Rav, Newts, and Robin as much as I can.
Not just a cheerleader in a small skirt.
Yeah, but definitely cheerlead as well. Definitely cheerlead.
I think that's about everything. Is that right? Both Kenny and Bora?
That is enough from me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's enough from me as well.
Cool.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much.
I'll let you get going. I'm sure you're quite busy.
No worries, guys. All the best. Thank you for hosting us. Cheers.
Cheers, Ed.
See ya.
So that's going to be it for tonight from Stream 2 of VL. Thank you, Parademon, for casting, and thank you, Gekno, for streaming.
Yeah, it has been fun. I hope you enjoyed your first cast.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Might try it again sometime.
Well, I hope to hear from you soon then.
Yeah.